Good morning, Railer Nation. Railer Nation. You're in the cheap seats, 96.3 WLCNonline.com, and we are broadcasting from the experience at the March Madness Exhibit Hall. Today we have Joe Ryan with us and the voice of the Railers, Jeff Benjamin. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeffrey.
Very exciting day today. The Lincoln Railers are playing for a state championship.
Unbelievable. They talked about it yesterday. I saw an interview with Joey. You know, all the summer practices, all the summer games, all the work they put in throughout the season. And you always want the opportunity, you always talk about it, but they wake up this morning knowing that by this afternoon, they could be walking out with the state championship trophy.
The Lincolns were a winner over Rockford Lutheran yesterday, 12-15 game, 45-42. Moving on to play Chicago Morgan Park. They were winners over Chicago or the game following. So, the Railers will be playing for the championship 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock today, right?
And yeah, right now, you might have to hit. Right now we got a caller. I think it might be Coach Alexander. You there?
And we're back.
Anybody there?
Hello.
No, nothing.
I'll keep babbling while you guys are looking at it, but I sat around yesterday as we were trying to get the phone call.
Is it on?
If it was Coach Al, please try us back. Don't give up.
Yeah, Coach, he's got a lot of stuff going on today. I didn't want him to come over. Right now he's getting uniforms ready.
But the fans do want to hear from him. This is a big day.
Yeah, it is.
So don't give up. Try calling back.
Yeah, I don't know that. We may not have the phone. I might not have the phone turned on, but we are at Carver Arena. Looking for a big crowd today, Joe.
We should fill this place up.
We had a huge crowd yesterday on a Friday afternoon where a lot of people were stuck at work, listening to the radio. No offense to the radio people today, but I hope nobody's listening.
Yeah, same here. That would be great. Comic and Jeffrey won't like that.
Well, if they're not listening, that means they're here. But obviously we have some out-of-towners that can't make it to the game, so they'll be listening. I got a friend in Florida. He'll be tuning in, listening, just all over the world, because we do stream live on the web.
Well, when this Zuckerberg guy invented Facebook, I don't think he knew that what the effect it would have on things, but I've heard from a whole lot of people, the old Lincolnites that are paying attention. They're going to be listening on the radio. Some of them even going to come over to the game. But it's a big deal when your high school goes to the state tournament, has a chance to play for state championship.
Yeah, and then the best Lincoln's ever done was a 4th place finish. That was back in 1980.
You were in 1980.
You were in grade school, right?
Yeah. Well, I was born in '81, so I just missed going to that. But yes, 1980 was it. Please keep trying to call if that's Coach Al, but we'll babble here for a minute. Now let's kind of go through. Want to talk about that team a little bit?
Let's give
Danny Duff was out there at that point guard, and went on to Notre Dame. He was a great basketball player, in Lincoln, and Terry Biggs. We forget about Terry Biggs. Yeah. He's got a kid playing basketball right now. Biggsy was a big time basketball player. Played racquetball with him later on in life, and he used to smash me in the wall because he's a pretty stout boy. And when he gets going one direction, he's not changing it. You know what I mean? You got to move your direction.
Right.
I took some shots off of him in the wall. I think I'm still banged up mentally from it. Paul Kendrick was on that team back then. Help me, you thinking of some others?
I was 7 years old back then.
Well, I believe we had Seitzer was on there out front hitting some threes. Tyler Renz was a good ball player back then. They're still around Lincoln. I think we said Paul Kendrick. Who else we leaving out of that team? I know the year after that was Duff, Kendrick, Lorenz, Warner, Jeff Wallace, and that's where they had the big 1981 super sectional game over there, our sectional championship game with Quincy over in Decatur. Mm-hmm. That's for the listeners that haven't paid attention. That ball game is out there actually now on the internet.
Right, I think it's on the Railer website also.
Wow, I hadn't seen that game since the day I left there, and then somehow it was on YouTube all these years later. That was a fun game. But I think we brought it up on here before. Terry Biggs, the all-time leading scorer at the state tournament for Lincoln.
Wow.
That record could get broken today.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope it gets broken by a lot of people.
Several.
A couple. 2 or 3.
I stuck around yesterday and watched that second game, Morgan Park and Chicago Orr. And, it's, wow, are they athletic? Boy, do they get up and down the court. You know, will we get dunked on today? Absolutely. These kids can all go and everybody can dunk. But you know what? As I watch the game, the Railers can beat this team. I mean, they're undisciplined, and we'll talk about that. I'm sure Coach Al will. You know, it's up and down the court. I really believe that will frustrate them. And I saw them argue among themselves yesterday. You know, back and forth on the court. They would argue with each other about a bad pass or throwing the ball away or it was my shot. I noticed where, and we've talked about this forever with the Lincoln Railers, how unselfish they are. They pass the ball everywhere. No one's worried about getting more points than the other one. I think a lot of these guys that played yesterday in this game yesterday, they didn't give the ball up like they should. They complained to each other. I think we can frustrate them. We hit our shots. My lack of basketball knowledge would say this. We're going to have to. I'm not sure we can rebound well against them. They're very athletic. They get up. We're going to have a high percentage. Our shot percentage has got to be high today because we may not get a lot of boards. They're tall, athletic kids that are going to grab boards.
And something we're going to have to do is eliminate the second chance points.
Yes.
Because if they're shooting, they're going to go get the ball. So we got to make sure we box out and eliminate those, you know, underneath putbacks.
Well, they didn't show me yesterday. Of course, you know, maybe it was a bad day for them, but they didn't show me yesterday where they had that three-point shooter that you really had to look for. You know, it's a lot of up and down, inside, balls tipped 3 or 4 times, you know, scored a basket, or even dunked. Or they want to get away on that breakaway. Get a dunk. Dunks are exciting.
But a 3 points worth more.
One more point, you get one more point because you're further away from the basket.
That's right. So, you know, we'll take a 3 over a dunk any day.
It's not as much as a sure thing, but you do get an extra point for it.
Yeah. Well, and you know, one of the things was I saw some stuff on Facebook and some of those wonderful social media things that, you know, they were sloppy yesterday. And we know how our defense turns to offense, so maybe we get a few run-outs and get some easy layups. I think the thing we'll have to be concerned with is, as athletic and quick as they are, if we do get those run-outs, we're going to have to make sure we go right to the basket, not be afraid of getting it blocked because we're going to get some shots blocked today too.
That's a good point. You know, if you know, once you get a shot blocked, sometimes that intimidates you to not try it again. And we're going to have to keep going at it and going at it and going at it because you probably will get some shots blocked. You know, when you talk about how sloppy they played, it was, and that's where I think, you know, when there's a loose ball out there, our kids are on top of it in a second, you know, and we'll do that today. I think we'll get a lot of jump balls, you know, they can change the direction of where the game's going. I really think it's going to be completely contrasting styles of basketball, which I think is going to be very interesting. Again, I think Lincoln, we have a definite shot at winning the state championship today.
Absolutely.
You know? And what should even aggravate us even more, of the Lincoln, the Raider Nation, is the fact that I don't know which coach it was, but one of those two coaches yesterday said the real state championship was being played yesterday. You know, that the real state championship was between those two teams yesterday, which that could irritate Raider Nation.
Well, and it does. And, you know, Lincoln's representing everybody south of I-80, you know, so maybe just have a tournament south of I-80 and let the Chicago have their own. Which basically what is 4A, except for Edwardsville. So, you know, that's just got to be put another chip on our shoulder. That's maybe some billboard material, you know. Hey, kids,
absolutely.
You know, these guys in Chicago don't think we can compete. Well, I beg to differ because we've played several Chicago teams.
They call us the
Chicago Harlan. You know, we just beat them in our tournament. It's not like we're not familiar with the style that Chicago plays, and you know, so we'll see. And I'm with you, Joe. I think we have a legitimate shot today of bringing home that first place trophy.
And the nice thing is, I don't think they're content with just being in the state championship game. It's not that they're waking up this morning going, we're playing for a state championship. I don't think they're going to be happy until after today and they've won it.
Right. And,
absolutely,
you know,
right.
And not to say they're not going to win it, but even if they don't, we're still taking home second
place.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
And is it going to hurt? Yeah, it's going to hurt, you know, because the ultimate goal is to win state championship. But as the kids set, you know, the next couple of days and kind of, you know, rethink the season and, you know, what took place, you know, it's a phenomenal year. And it's going to be sad to see, you know, this is the last game that these guys are going to play together. And it's going to be sad to see them go. I mean, it's just been an enjoyable year.
Well, they drug me in. I'm going to tell you, you guys all know I'm a football guy. But the more I watch these kids and all year long, and I watch them play together and go through things, they drug me in. You know what I mean? 100%.
And
it's a
not
great,
hard
fun
to
team to watch.
And it's not just because they're good on the court. They're good kids off the court, and that just makes it more special that you can actually, you can, I guess, mingle with these kids off the court and just kind of relate to them, and they're personable.
I was going to say earlier when we were talking about those two coaches talking about downstate, I thought that Coach Leonard over at Rochester, when they won their state championship this year in football, on the camera afterwards, he made the statement, they talk a lot about us downers. They say us downers can't play defense, us downers can't score. Well, we proved them all wrong today. And it kind of caught on. I hadn't heard us called downers yet, but that's what we are. We're the downstate boys. We're the downers up here again today.
Well, we're representing a lot on.
If they think we can't score or we can't play defense, they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's take a quick commercial break. Maybe we'll see if we can get Coach Al on. Don't know that we'll be able to. Like I said, there's a lot going on today.
He's busy doing something today. I'm sure. I can't remember what it is.
And that's why I'm not going to bug him. If he doesn't have the time, we understand. But this might be him right here. So
somebody's ringing
we'll
up.
keep her right here, Paula.
Hello.
Hey, Coach, how we doing?
Oh, pretty good, I guess.
What do we got going on today?
He's at a loss for words.
Well, Coach, we won't keep you long. I'm sure you have a lot to do. I know our fans are sitting at home in Lincoln right now listening, just ready to get in their cars and drive up to the Carver Arena for the state championship game.
Well, we're at Peoria High School, Peoria Central, and we're going through our walkthrough and try to go through what we saw on film last night and everything. So we're just trying to prepare a little bit, get the guys up moving, and see what's going to happen.
Well, we know what's going to happen. So, but just give us your take real quick on the game yesterday. A pretty solid Rockford Luther team, kind of, maybe the same kind of team that we are. Just give us your thoughts on that, and then, little thoughts on today's game, and then we'll let you go.
Well, the Rockford team forced us to do a lot of different things. They really forced us to make so many adjustments in our defense, and we're unable to, play the defense the way we like to play it. So we had to make adjustments because of the great shooters that they had, and they had us really strung out. But, when we got down into the fourth quarter and, we got down and we had to move the pressure up, it became more of our regular defense, and you could see what happened when that took place. But they had a great team. We beat a very good Rockford Lutheran team, and I'm really proud of our guys. And, I really, the support from the Lincoln community and our student body has just been unbelievable. So I know these guys are wanting to do what everybody else wants them to do, and I hope they're not afraid of if they don't do it, what people are going to think. But they've been an outstanding group to watch. I've had a lot of compliments from people outside of our community and our basketball program. It's really impressed with the way our guys play. So I think we have not only the Lincoln community behind. I think there's a lot of people like to see good basketball teams win.
Coach, I know you're speaking of communities and a place that you used to coach over in Bushnell, Prairie City. My phone's been blowing up saying, hey, we're coming to the game today. We're going to support Coach Al. This is a great thing. So, like you said, not only Lincoln community, but communities all over. Were you guys able to, I'm sure you guys stuck around last night to watch the Morgan Park Orr game. Give us your thoughts on Morgan Park. I know they're athletic. Can they shoot from outside, or they just mainly go to the basket?
Well, they've got some shooters. They very successful basketball team. They play in the public league. They play in the league, I believe, with Simeon. That's their division that they're in. They're 6'8", 6'7", and they're athletic. And they really throw the ball up there and go get it. So the key part of the game today is going to be whether we can rebound, whether we handle their pressure, because they're going to try to do a lot of different things against us. And the game yesterday with Chicago Orr was just a wild game. And it was two very athletic games for teams that were running up and down the court, making plays and things. So this will be a game of contrast. They want to play fast, faster, and we want to play slower. And so we have to have a low-scoring game today. If it's up a lot of points, we could be in trouble. So our guys are going to have to take care of the basketball and not let them have easy scores. And for the most part, our guys have done that all year. An amazing stat that these kids have is they're only averaging about 6 turnovers a game. And, yesterday we only had 5, and we need another performer like that.
Well, Coach, we'll let you get going here, get the kids ready to play today. Thanks for calling in, giving us some of your time. And Railer Nation will be in full force today. I can see it now that there will be several hundred more fans today than there was yesterday.
Well, I don't know whether we'll have another show or not, but from our standpoint, from the kids, coaches, we definitely want to thank our team for the support they've had, and it is greatly appreciated, and they are a part of the wins and things that we have had. So, again, we want to thank them, and we got one more game to go, so hopefully they can will us to another victory, because they sure helped us win a lot of games this year.
Absolutely. All right, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Yep, tell the other coaches and the players good luck, and we will see you at 2 o'clock for the championship game of the Illinois State 3A Championship. All right, Coach. Thanks.
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Yep, that's Coach Neil Alexander, the coach of your Lincoln Railers. Let's take a commercial timeout. We'll come back, and we're going to talk more Railer basketball. That's a whole show of Railer basketball today. Phone lines will be open, 737-3791, if you want to call in, if you want to share some thoughts on the game, or maybe a special moment when you're at the game yesterday. But give us a call, 737-3791. You're in the cheap seats, 96.3 WLCNonline.com. Good morning, Railer fans. Welcome back to the cheap seats. I'm Scott Kirby, along with Joe Ryan, and your voice of the Railers, Jeff Benjamin. We are broadcasting from the March Madness Experience Exhibit Hall, where kids are starting to file in right now. They got all kinds of stations set up here for shooting, and they got some coaching going on as well. They have some clinics going on. So maybe some of those young kids in the future, I don't know, I'm sure there's a sign up. You know anything about that? Because Country Financial is a sponsor of this tournament.
Yeah, we're a big sponsor over here, but I don't know exactly how the experience works. I don't know exactly how the experience works. We're losing it.
What? The phone is ringing. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, well.
Well, we missed them.
Maybe
hey, you know what? None of us got that.
Yeah.
We're so dumb we couldn't tell what you sign. We used to play that picture thing. That's that thing where you draw something.
Yeah, well, we missed the caller.
Try back.
But I don't know that we have our audio. There we go. Let's try that.
We're going to try it again. Here we go.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, your audio wasn't working that first time, but I just thought a good human interest story would be that Barbara Bowlby played for the state championship 36 years ago.
Wow, that's right.
All right.
30, and you're coming in loud and clear.
Yeah, but there's
good. Somehow you didn't have coach turned up, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, we're having a bad connection on at the studio or something. Yeah, because we could hear him fine right here.
Yeah, this is good. Hey, now Barb still holds a record out there, right? For what's she going a game, like 16 of 16?
19 out of 21, and
19 out of 21.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're talking about Terry Biggs. He had 46 points, and Brad Seitzer had 46, and Paul Kendrick had 43.
Who were the other? Name some of those other guys on that team, Bob.
Oh, they had a great team. They had Terry Biggs, Van Duff, Paul Kendrick, Todd Lorenz, Willie McCray.
Forgot about Willie McCray. Yeah.
Stan Warner, and then the guys came off the bench were Jim Austin, Greg Fink, Ty Miller,
yeah,
Alex Ulrich. Yeah, Alex Ulrich, and Ron Williams.
Oh, yeah, Ron Williams. Forgot about him.
Yeah, they were like this team, a bunch of good kids, and they played the ball press, and they were a great free throw shooting team. And, of course, like you said, Joe, they played in that classic the next year at Decatur Eisenhower Bob Witt Gymnasium. And, that was the state championship. That really was the state championship because Quincy won every game after that by 20 or more.
Yeah, they beat everybody up. They had those Douglas twins back then. And
the Douglas brothers, yeah.
And I can still remember that Stan Werner had the first 6 points of the game inside. He was on fire, 6-0 Lincoln, and Quincy had to call a timeout. And then we had foul problems later on. Duff didn't foul out of a game in 4 years, and he fouled out of that game.
I
remember that.
Bowen had a technical, but that was the first time a cable TV station ever did the game, and I think there was 8 radio stations there, and there was newspapers from all over the state, Chicago, St. Louis. Well, that's from Missouri, but
fun stuff to go back and watch that film on YouTube, that game on YouTube. The shorts were a little shorter then. They really were shorts back then.
Yeah, the old Larry Bird shorts.
They were
I think
short.
the women liked them, but Michigan State and Michael Jordan changed all that.
Hey, let's talk about that Bowlby kid a minute. Boy, he caught fire over there in that super sectional game.
He did. It was immaculate, and I think that now that they've got a game under their belts there, that they'll do a lot better. I think psychologically that red college line could throw you off. Rockford Lutheran was doing a good job pushing them out.
Yeah, I thought that Rockford Lutheran did a good job against them, but when it came up time to win the game, there we were again. We just keep doing it. When it's time to win the game, we keep doing it.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for calling in, Bob. I think our audio's going out here.
No, the matriarch of just came out here on the front porch. This is Betty Bedurban.
Oh yeah, tell Betty we said hello.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
You guys, we'll see you at the game.
We'll see you today.
Yeah. Bye.
See you, Bob.
All right.
They, I don't, Bowlby had a few misses in that game yesterday, but you know what? I really think, when he gets fire today, that's that's someone they've got to block, and he'll catch fire today. Someone they got to get out there on.
And, something that Lincoln hasn't done in this tournament is play 2 days in a row. So it's hard to adjust because there's no background to see that rim. It's tough for shooters in this gym because there's no, I guess, depth perception or something because it's just hard to see. So maybe our eyes will adjust a little bit better today, and those 3-pointers will start dropping. How many did we shoot yesterday, Jeff?
9 of 32.
9 of 32.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Even if we hit...
And still won.
Yeah, if we hit 40%, we're going to win by 10 or 12. So, they had some good looks, but they just weren't falling.
Well, what do you guys think? I was going to ask Coach Al this. Maybe we'll ask him another time. But, I thought that Rockford Lutheran was the best team. And I've been to most of the games this year, not all of them. But you know what? I thought they were the best team we've played.
Yeah.
I think they're better than Lanford. That was a good team.
Well, it's a good team, and I think they kind of surprised us a little bit. Coming into the game, Rockford Lutheran was known for three-point shooting. They had 4 more three-pointers than we did this year overall.
Really?
And looked to me like they were bound and determined to get that ball inside.
And you almost wonder if that's what they were going to start out with, see if they could get it into the Weeding kid. And he just, every time he got it in there, just laid it up and in, easy shots. And then you wonder if they thought that the Railers would sort of sag their defense back a little bit, and that would open up. But I think Coach Al in one of the interviews last night mentioned that what he was focusing on was making sure that if Rockford Lutheran was going to get looks at a 3, he didn't want them right on the line. He wanted to make sure that they were pushed back off the line. So instead of shooting from 19-9, make it 21-22 and make it a little bit more difficult for them. But I was surprised coming in that it's almost like they completely abandoned the 3-point shot, and then when they needed it, the Railers had found a way to take it away from them.
Right.
I thought one of the things I saw in the paint down there so often yesterday was I thought they did the best job on Gavin Block that I've seen anyone do all year. Gavin has that quick first step or that reach around that he'll get around you, and he's got a hand free to get some type of layup or something off the backboard, and they got their bodies in front of him a lot and didn't give him that. He had to dish the ball back out to the corner or back out front until it got late, and then he got around and got a few points. But I thought they did probably the best job against Gavin as anyone did this year.
Yeah, and that's something that took away from our game plan. We say get to the rim. Well, Lutheran's a big, strong team, and they kind of eliminated that. That number 1, Robertson. Mm-hmm.
He could get up.
He could get up.
Can't make a layup, but boy, he could get up.
Can't shoot. He can't hit a broadside of a barn, but I tell you, his defense was solid and, kept us out of the paint.
And I thought one of probably an unsung play of the game was late in the game. I don't know if what Coach Al's philosophy would have been late in the game yesterday, if they were going to look to maybe foul Robinson, because he wasn't a very good free throw shooter coming into the game, and their coach, Coach Busey, got him out of the game or tried to get him out during the timeout, but because they didn't have the sub at the bench at the normal time, they couldn't get him out of the game the way they wanted to. So you wonder if the entire timeout was spent focusing a play on the kid that they tried to get in, and now all of a sudden they can't get him in. And,
right.
you know, I think it may have just been enough of a psychological throw-off that, again, you don't need much if you're the Railers defensively to give teams trouble. And so now you've got them wondering, okay, now what are we going to do? Where are we supposed to be? And, you know, you've got, Joey and especially Peyton Evelair came up with 2 huge plays yesterday, tipping the ball away late when we needed it. And, you know, you hear all the names with the scoring and everything. And that's what makes this a great team. We've talked about it all throughout the year. We've talked about it especially through the postseason. But every game, somebody is doing something that helps them win. And without that one little play, we may not come away with the victory.
Well, speaking of somebody coming in, how about Will Cook?
Oh, absolutely.
The Iceman.
He comes in, and he's hit probably two of the biggest shots of tournament play. The first one being against MacArthur. You know, I think, we're down 6 or 7 to Decatur MacArthur. He comes in, hits a big 3, and he hit one in the corner yesterday. We're down 6. He comes in, hits a 3.
He's the Iceman.
And then that just gets things rolling. I mean, whenever you can have 2 guys come off the bench and you don't skip a beat, I mean, that's a great problem to have.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to back up just a second, because you would know this, Jeff. The kid that came in, yesterday, and then he hadn't reported incorrectly.
Right.
And they had to take him right back out. I don't think he had been in the game before. Am I right, or was he?
He had actually been in the last 20 seconds of the first half, because he's a kid, I'm sure there's a lot of folks that maybe saw the story. Here's a kid that had 2 broken ankles during the season. He broke one ankle. He rehabbed. I think he was out 6-7 weeks. He came back, and I think within a week, 10 days of him coming back, he broke the other ankle. While he was being treated for that, he actually had a cancer scare. And so when they were doing a biopsy, they punctured his lung. And so this kid had been through everything. I think he'd lost 15 or 20 pounds. And I know watching the replay of the game last night off the IHSA network, they interviewed the coach for Rockford Lutheran, and he said that was his biggest thrill of the first half, was getting him into the game.
Sure.
Now, he is a 3-point shooter. Maybe they were bringing him in for that. But again, it was just enough to throw them off. And you almost wonder, as many shots as that Robinson kid had missed down low, as poor as he was as a free throw shooter, I don't think we have kids in Lincoln that when the ball is out, there's nobody out there that doesn't want the ball. But I kind of got the feeling that he didn't want anything. He didn't want it. He wanted as far away from it as possible.
And he missed several shots, just putback shots, just over the rim, not even close. But I don't think he was out. He wasn't out there for his offense, but he was a solid defensive player.
He's a football player.
I think it was Josh Komnick during the broadcast who mentioned something. You know, how can you be a starter on a varsity team that's gotten this far and miss that many shots? I mean, and not just barely miss them. I mean, miss them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd have been one thing if it just didn't drop for you. He wasn't near it. I think like 3 times.
Just kind of go back a little bit on that substitution. That's just kind of a credit to our coaching staff.
Exactly.
To see something like that, because during a timeout, you're focused on coaching your kids and setting up the next play. But to see that illegal substitution and bring it to the referee's attention, you know, that's just a credit to our coach. You know, our assistant coach is sitting there observing and, you know, knowing the rules of the game.
Now, I don't know this rule. That's why I'm going to ask this, because I'd like to ask today. Lincoln coaching staff actually said something about him coming in.
I would think the scores table would have to catch that,
because I
don't know that they did.
I was told that if they would have let them inbound the ball and then something was said, it's a technical, we would have shot free throws and got the ball back. And that's why I was wondering. Yeah. But if once you let inbound the ball, could you have stopped play for that?
I don't think it comes back to what's called a correctable error. And a lot of times that has to do with scoring. You know, if someone thinks it's a 2, but somebody's got a good look that it's a 3, that is something that they can go at a dead ball and they can correct. But with substitutions and things like that, I think once they occur, that's where the problem comes in. So, for example, there was a game, I think even in the NCAA tournament, where a kid went to the floor and he wasn't in the scorebook. I mean, how an NCAA tournament team cannot be in the scorebook? Well, the moment he goes in the game, it's a technical.
Yeah.
Because it's an error that they have to correct. Now, if the coach decides, okay, we're not going to put him in, it's not a technical because they don't have to correct anything. But once they put him in and say, yeah, we want him in the game. So, but yeah, I don't know if it was a scorer's bench. I don't know if it was one of the coaches for the Railers that mentioned it. But whoever caught it, they did a great job at getting it.
We got an official out there. Give us a call. Tell us how we ruled it.
Well, we need to take another commercial break. Come back. We're talking more Railer basketball. You're in the cheap seats, 96.3 FM, WLCNonline.com. Good morning, Railer fans. Welcome to the cheap seats. Scott Kirby, Joe Ryan, Jeff Benjamin setting in the experience, March Madness experience here in the exhibit hall. Got a lot of kids starting to filter in here, shooting all kinds of stations to shoot at. 3-pointers. Looks like some 3-on-3 going on over here. All kinds of coaching these kids. These are going to be future kids that hopefully make it to the state tournament. I know a lot of the kids on our team back in 2006. I'm sure they are out here throwing up shots.
I remember being disappointed when they moved it from Champaign because, that's the University of Illinois. That was the court to play on. But I got to tell you, they were right. As this is, as the years have went on, this is a much better venue. It's a better place to watch a game. This is an awesome place over here.
Yeah, I remember growing up and during the state tournament, our science teacher would always bring the TV in and roll in Art Kimball and the country companies.
Art Kimball, yeah. Country companies back then.
It was all, and all the DeKalb Pfizer. I mean, it was everything was sponsored, agriculture and everything, and you just wanted to get to the assembly hall. And now, you take a look around, guys, and you see, a cutout here of the Thornridge team. I know there's some posters over there of like Simeon that won a state championship. You look at all the highlights from years gone by, and you wonder next year when we come, where will be a Gavin Block or a Max Cook or a Railer team picture hanging here because of what could happen here this afternoon.
Absolutely.
You become a legend.
You do. We have a question from a caller that he was wanting us to answer, and we'll answer it as best as we can, or we'll make up an answer.
We're good at that.
Sometimes we do, but we do have Jeff with us, so that it's going to be a correct answer. But he was wanting to know that if you win back-to-back state championships, do they move you up a class? For instance, if a 2A, well, let's use 3A, because if a 3A team wins a state championship 2 years in a row, do they move them up to 4A?
The way the IHSA is determined to try and make things a little bit more fair is they've implemented a point system, and I forget what the official title is, but basically if you are successful and you advance to certain rounds of the state tournament, whatever your sport may be, you're assigned points for how far you get. And I think it's over a 2 or 3 year period. If you've received so many points, then the following year you are moved up a class. It is my understanding, and again I could be wrong about this, that it only affects non-boundaried schools, so private schools, so like a Sacred Heart Griffin, Quincy Notre Dame, things like that. So I don't believe it would affect public schools. So Lincoln, I don't think they would be affected at all. But so, for example, you take SHG, look at all the success that they've had. They win a state championship this year, say they win one next year, it's very possible the following year they're competing in the 6A tournament. Even though their schedule and everything else would stay the same, they would then be bumped up into the 6A classification just because of the success that previous teams have had. So it's sort of a, it's sort of a blessing because it's showing how much success you've had, but it's also a curse.
There's some punishment for you.
But it's also a curse because you may have, say you've got a good group of juniors and seniors that just roll through state tournaments. Well, they all graduate. You're going to have a down year because you've got a young program. Sure. And their first reward is congratulations. Now you're playing against an even larger schedule with the team. So I believe that's what it is. I think it only affects the non-boundaried schools. So if
And it would be a year-to-year, I guess, contract. If they don't make it to, if they don't win the state championship the following year, they'll bump back down.
Yeah, I think it's a sliding scale depending on, okay, in this 2 or 3 year period, this is how many points you had. Okay, now the next 2 or 3 year period, which, would just shift 1 year and they would just go sequentially down the line.
You did a nice job explaining it. John Allison, that coaches at SHG, and I were just talking about this.
And I
that was
think,
a good job.
And again, the IHSA, I know everybody has their feelings, and we'll probably just reserve them because we want them to be nice to us the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you're right.
Everyone could always complain.
Yeah, but there hasn't been any complaining this year, and we're playing for a state championship today. I mean, I'm got goosebumps right now. We still have 4 hours for game time, and I mean, this is amazing. Just being in the atmosphere. I mean, after the game yesterday, I'm walking through the hallways and everybody's high-fiving, and it's a great feeling.
You talk about bringing the community together. Winning does that.
It does.
It does. And you know how much the community's together now supporting this basketball team, and everybody coming over here, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody that's going to go out somewhere to get something to eat or go to a bar or something today, they're all going to watch it, and they're all going to be talking about Raider basketball, and this kid's related to that kid, and who their parents are, and my daughter's a cheerleader, and all that other stuff. And it brings the community together. It's a big deal. You're playing for state championship.
It is, and it's just exciting for our student body.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's for them too. Yeah, we got fans. We got old guys like myself and Joe that it's special for us, but for those fans, the students, to partake in it and just. They've willed some of these wins for this Raider team just by how they cheer, and that's probably one of the best student sections I've seen.
And Coach Al talks about it, about helping us out, how much the fans help them out.
And what was interesting yesterday is, and give credit to the Lincoln students who were here, and as loud as they were, I mean, they were even when they were showing the highlights on the message board above the court of the win against Cahokia on Tuesday night. The students were cheering that. I mean, they were cheering everything that had anything to do with the Railers, and it seemed like they were working in tandem with the band who was here yesterday from Tolono Unity, who I thought did a great job.
Yes.
And it almost felt like, they didn't sound quite as good as our Railer band, but it almost felt like they were working together as a group, and I think it made their band sound better because they were working in conjunction with our students. I mean, it was a great atmosphere, and like we've talked about, if we thought yesterday was something, I can't imagine what it's going to be like walking the Carver Arena today and seeing just how much of Railer Nation takes over here in Peoria.
And you mentioned the band. Let's pop in there and give it some kudos. You know what? We do have probably one of the best bands in the state of Illinois.
Definitely.
They do a great job, and those kids, they work their tails off. And I know in football it's great to watch them, listen to them, and in basketball do the same thing. Hats off to that band we have over there at Lincoln.
And if you look at our fans yesterday, it's kind of deceiving because, a majority of them were in that 4 sections wherever in the corner, but we had fans scattered all throughout the arena, and that's just amazing. It's
I'm going to throw a complaint out there, so probably Marty Hickman, let's hope he's not listening or whatever, but when you really, high school sports such as this basketball, that's you're going to play in a contained environment unlike a football game or something, but I know there's a lot of people that sponsor this and they throw money out there. Country Financial is one of them, but I just wish they'd get those schools, especially for the championship games. I wish they'd give those schools those center sections across from each other and let them, it's okay, you got them in the corners, I understand, you got more teams here, but boy, when it comes to those championship games, let's move those kids to the middle. Let's fill up both sides across from the gym and go at it, instead of putting them down in a corner. That'd be my only complaint.
Yeah. Well, remember at Prairie Capital, the Railer student section had that one section on the floor all the way to the left, and it was loud and it was fun, and that's
Sure.
They don't want to feel like they're an afterthought. Well, we're just going to put you over here because
you're the ones that's been there all year long.
And if you saw Rockford Lutheran's student section, where were they at?
Way up top.
They had a great student section.
Right, and that's the choice of the school where you put your fans. Coach Al, one of those fans, as close to the court as he could get them. Him and Sam, and that's the way it should be.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I just wish they'd center those kids and let them be right there in the middle of that
I say
game.
put them right behind the baskets, that whole section.
Oh, I guess you could do that too.
Put them right there. But
put them on your bench side, And so, yeah.
But, you know, that's not our choice to make. And
No, and Coach Al's right. Let's get them closer to that.
get them as close as
down
you
there
can.
close. But, boy, you know, give Rockford Lutheran some credit. They did have a good fan base.
They
there.
did.
Absolutely.
They did.
Joe, something you were wanting to talk about today was, I know we talk about people playing in the games, the starters and the people off the bench, but the other bench players who contribute to this basketball
I just thought
team
we'd throw
as
their
well.
names around. That's why I say, you know, I didn't know where you wanted to start, but I didn't want to miss anybody. That's why I say get them up there. But, you know, there's a lot of kids that practice every day that, you know, that get up early, that do the summer work, that do all the stuff. And, you know, they just don't get in the game as much as those others. But if they weren't there to practice against and
Right.
they weren't there too, this team's not what it is.
Because those kids, they're the ones running the scouting report for the team that we're getting ready
Sure.
to play. You know, they have to run, for instance, Rockford Lutheran, they have to run their offense so our defense can kind of see where we need to be. And vice versa. They're going to run, you know, Rockford's defense while Lincoln can work on our offense. So, yeah, you're right. Without those kids, you know, they don't get any of the glory.
But a few of them are going to graduate, but the rest of them are next year's regulars that are coming right back over.
Right, and let's talk about some of those. Austin Cruz, he was one of probably the leaders on this team. Does he get a whole lot of playing time? No, but the kid is dedicated to the program.
Don't ever hear him complain.
Don't ever hear him complain. You always see him smiling, but when he's in there, he's, you know, he doesn't miss a beat.
Yep.
You had him in football, and he's a quarterback.
He's an excellent kid. Another one of those great kids we talk about. What a good kid. You know, played quarterback for us. I saw him make some great decisions in football of whether he should run it, throw it, or just get out of bounds. He did it a lot. He's a thinker, smart kid.
Well, he's a very smart and intelligent kid, and
good kid.
When he's on the court,
I'd like to see him get in there today.
Right. Well, in fact, I believe that he and Joey were both named Illinois State Scholars.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's not something that they just give out.
I wasn't.
Me either.
Somebody else that comes off the bench every now and then to give Gavin a break, that's Adam Conrady. Big 6, what's he, 6'7", 2?
He's a big dude.
Yeah, big kid, junior. Still, you know, working on his game. He's going to improve. Another football player.
You know, he was hurt this year in football with that shoulder. That hurt us a little bit and him. But I got to tell you, another great kid that I've watched him progress through the years of since he was a freshman. One thing I've noticed about him is his footwork. He's a much quicker, more athletic kid than he was when he was a freshman. He's worked hard. I think he's going to be a big help for us in football next year, and he's certainly going to be the big man on this basketball team next year, I think.
And then we got to mention Bobby Donofsky, the senior. He's been in the program 4 years, and, you know, he's a good player. And, you know, I think he's wanting to continue playing after high school.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors about where he's going. I don't know if we should say that on the air. I don't know. Just heard some rumors. Bobby D's another good kid. You know,
right.
He can shoot the three, can rebound, do some things for you. Just, you know, like we were talking about him being a senior and Cruz being a senior, they just happen to be on a team that's very good. Right. You know, otherwise they're probably a starter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's just the luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah.
A junior, Jordan Perry. He's kind of like he always has the trophy. I mean,
I've noticed that.
He's the trophy bearer. I mean, he's I don't know if you call him the goofball of the team, but
he might be the true winner of all of them. He's the one always getting the awards.
Yeah,
so grabbing that trophy.
And he's got we got the Rather page pulled up right now. He's got the super sectional award right there. But yeah, he's an excellent shooter as well.
Now that haven't they just won on that Rather page there, they're state bound? I mean, look at those faces. Look at Perry's face.
I don't know.
It's because someone told him that he can't keep the trophy at home.
I'm going to tell you something. I know all those kids have had their parents spend a lot of money on dental work, and none of them are smiling.
Well, you don't smile. I mean, you got to look like a bad man.
Just won.
Yeah, well.
Put on a happy face.
Gavin's got a smile.
Okay, we got Gavin back there.
Well, let's go through some others. We got some of the sophomores sophomores now who are going to be detrimental to the program next year. Garrett Isles, you know a little bit about Garrett Isles.
My favorite stepson. Yeah, Garrett Isles.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good little ball player. He can handle the ball. He can shoot. He can move. Again, you know, he was brought up in that with the Isles. You know, Donnie was a great athlete at the high school, great basketball, baseball player, played some football. But, you know, Garrett's a little player. He's going to be all right. He's going to help his team next year.
And you know the one thing about Garrett that may give him a little bit of an advantage is he's that one thing you don't see a lot on the basketball court. He's left-handed. Yep. And, you know, there's a lot of times when you see someone on a scouting report, one of the first things they'll say is, oh, and by the way, he's left-handed. And so you don't think about that a lot. So if you don't play against him a lot, it sometimes gives you an advantage. And we've seen some games this year. He doesn't need much room to fire off some threes.
No, and he hasn't seen a shot he doesn't like either.
No.
Did you teach him that?
Well, his nickname around the house is Trigger.
Trigger?
Because, he shoot at any time.
Well,
I better give his mom some credit. She's pretty athletic, ran track, and still runs today. She helps with that. You got to mention them both, but he's athletic. He'll help the team next year.
Right, another sophomore, Aaron Hop, very athletic kid.
Absolutely.
And
Wow.
That's another thing. If we didn't have the seniors and juniors that we have this year, he could be a kid that could step up and play varsity right now. But
boy, is he quick and everywhere. Gets to the ball. Yeah, he's a kid that's going to help us.
Yeah, he's going to be a big key to next year's squad. KJ Fry, excellent shooter.
Oh yeah, he can pull it up. Has a great shot, way up above his head. Shoots the three. Had a what did he break in? He had a foot. Was it a leg or a foot or something?
He broke a leg in football.
Yeah,
and now he does not play football.
He doesn't play, but it's slowed him down a bit. But he recovered 100% from it. He's playing strong right now.
And speaking of another football injury, that's Bryson Kirby. He broke his hip 2 years ago.
Now wait a minute, that's in youth football.
But still football.
But really, hey, to make things clear, didn't he hit the ground and it did it?
He did, and that was just a freak thing. But his football days are over. But I tell you, he's the freshman on the team, and for people that he did participate in the three-point shootout down here, missed advancing by one shot.
Wow.
And he came
That's
out.
close.
Oh, he hit 4 out of 5 on the first rack, 3 out of 5 on the second, and then that last rack where he usually closes it, he only hit 2. So if he hits 2 more shots, he wins it. 1 more shot, he advances to Friday. But came up a shot short, and oh well, we'll move on to next.
I'll tell you what, if you haven't been to the three-point shootouts, I think we need to get a little music or something going in the background for him. It's as quiet as someone is putting.
Oh yeah, well we came over
green putting.
We came over Thursday night, and it was silent.
It's so quiet. It takes a lot of nerves in to shoot. Let's get something bouncing around. And you know what? Again, Bryson, he got a lot of looks from his mother, and probably one of the best-looking kids on the team. So there you go. I thought I'd get that out.
Yeah, and he looks like he's in junior high still, and but he's going to grow one of these days. But and then we got to finish up with the managers.
Absolutely.
They do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that Coach Al doesn't have to do. You got Sam Tiffany, the Marine.
The Marine, yeah, boy.
Yeah, you got Dalton Presswood and Graham Hill. So they're doing the stuff behind the scenes. Well, right now they're really behind the scenes because they don't have enough seats. So they're behind the bench now during the tournament because we got like 35 coaches on the bench. So,
and some of those coaches are taking up 2 seats. And I think you know who we're talking about.
We won't say anything about that. But guys, show's coming to an end here. Give us your outlook on today. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be electric. Win or lose, I know our Railer fans are going to support this basketball team. The worst we can do is bring home a second-place trophy.
They're already legends.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. They're legends right now.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if the Railers get down. We've seen throughout these past few weeks that they've been down and they've been able to hang together because they are a team. It would be interesting to see what happens if the Railers can get off to the start like they did yesterday and see can Morgan Park, even though they are the defending state champions, and I believe they're coached by, isn't he Nick Irvin, isn't he the guy that has one of the major AAU programs in and around the Chicago area? But it'll be interesting to see if they can stay together as a team because as you talked about, when things start going bad for the Railers, they gather together and rally around themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
For Morgan Park, will they be the type of team when things start going bad, they all start looking in their own direction?
Absolutely. That's the big question. I said earlier there must have been 10, 12 dunks in that game that I watched yesterday. And you know what? A dunk sometimes takes momentum away from you. So and that's what I want to make sure to, the Raiders have to overcome. They'll get dunked on today. It's just going to happen.
Hey, we got some Raider fans rolling in now. They're ready. They're way early, 4 hours early. That's what you can see. Downtown Peoria, you're going to see a lot of red and green.
Oh, and by the way, I think we should. Where should the Peoria Chamber of Commerce send their your welcome note?
Well, you're funny you say that because I was hanging out with the president of the chamber last night, and he's going to be at the game today. He was supposed to come on the show today, but I don't see Jeff. It's Andy's friend.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was just saying.
He was supposed to come. He was president of the chamber of Peoria, and Yeah, he's going to be at the game today. He's rooting for the Railers, so maybe we have to get him some green.
We'll get him some green.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I think the Railers frustrate this team, and the Railers win the state championship today.
Yeah, I think it's I have a feeling, as you talked about with the coaches yesterday, talking about that the real state championship game was yesterday. There's that respect factor. You know, Coach Alexander is going to use any kind of motivation he can. It's just another chip to put on their shoulder, like Scott said. And I almost wonder if they're going to walk in, they being Morgan Park, well, all we have to do is get through 32 minutes because we've already won, where Lincoln's going to...
They're in for a storm.
They have no idea.
And I think the third and fourth place game is going to be a great game. I want to go watch it.
Go watch it.
I think that's going to be a good game.
You got the credentials. You can sit wherever you want.
Sit at midcourt and have them go around me.
Let's do it. Well, guys, that's it for our show. It's something we've never done before, broadcast from a state tournament. It's never been done on cheap seats, I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure it hasn't.
Yeah.
And then, of course, later this afternoon, we get to do a state championship game.
That's very exciting. You know, I know you and Josh, you guys do a great job. We mentioned it earlier. Hopefully nobody's listening.
I'd be fine with that.
I mean, except for the people out of state. You know, they can't make it. But I'm hoping every person in Lincoln is at this gym today.
Well, some of them will have to work, but yeah.
Well, it should be a state holiday today.
You know what? Maybe another day off of school on Monday.
Why not? They get enough now.
And real quick before we go, I know that tonight after the game they're having a celebration for the team.
Good call, Jeff. I was wanting to mention that. Don't know the times yet. Right. Just tune in to like all your media, Facebook, Twitter. Josh will be on tweeting. And we'll have the Facebook, and then you'll probably be able to go online. But there will be a rally, a support rally later today. The time we don't know yet, and any of the details, but just pay attention to your Facebook, and we'll get these kids back home with that first place trophy.
That'd be great.
Go Railers.
Go Railers. Well, that's it for us. Thanks for tuning in. We are at the Experience at March Madness. You've been listening to the Cheap Seats, 96.3 WLCNonline.com.